Hi there, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexis Rogers. Today, police are still looking for the suspects in two separate New Year's Day shootings in the Twin Cities. In both cases, children were hit with gunfire while they were in their homes. They're now in the hospital. One shooting happened on Sherburne Avenue in St. Paul and another on Bryant Avenue in Minneapolis' Hawthorne neighborhood. In Minneapolis, an 11-year-old girl was shot just minutes into the new year. In St. Paul, a 10-year-old boy was shot in the stomach and is in critical condition. We spoke with investigators today who say this wasn't a random shooting. They believe the suspect fired shots into the house from outside.
Obviously, we've had our share of incidents on New Year's Day. I just don't remember a situation similar to this or so soon after the first of the year.
Police tell us both children are expected to be okay. Police in Blaine say they found the driver they believe is responsible for hitting and killing a man on Highway 65. Authorities say they got a call from a passerby saying a man was lying in the road near 109th Avenue Northeast around 4:30 this morning. They say they also got a call from another person saying they may have hit someone lying on the road. First responders found the man, but he died on the way to the hospital. Investigators say the driver is cooperating. Well, here's a look at what we saw in terms of homicides between 2022 and 2023. In St. Paul, there were 33 homicides last year. That's down from 2022. In Minneapolis, it was a similar trend. We saw 73 homicides last year, again, down from 2022, but still nowhere near pre-pandemic levels. We're also following another tragedy out of Japan today. This video was taken just moments after a fiery plane crash just hours ago. This is the moment a passenger plane collided with a Japanese Coast Guard aircraft in Tokyo. Officials say 5 people on the Coast Guard plane were killed. All 379 people on the Japan Airlines flight got out safely. Authorities say the passenger plane was landing as the Coast Guard was preparing to take off. It was getting ready to deliver relief to people impacted by yesterday's deadly earthquake. Reports from just over an hour ago say a Hamas official has been killed in Lebanon. The latest comes as the Israeli military now says in the coming days it will begin withdrawing troops. NBC's Matt Bradley shows us how the ongoing war is now impacting tensions involving the U.S.
Well, even as we're seeing Israel continuing its war in the Gaza Strip now with nearly 22,000 Palestinians killed, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip, most of them civilians. Now we're seeing for the first time a direct hit against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu himself. Now, this was a long time coming over the last several months. This was the issue that had divided Israel before October 7th. Finally, the Supreme Court came out and rejected a signature piece of legislation by Benjamin Netanyahu that would have basically kneecapped the judiciary in favor of the Prime Minister, Netanyahu himself, and the cabinet. They rejected this legislation by a very narrow margin that would have said that the courts or judges would have the right to exercise a reasonableness clause, essentially saying that legislation or decisions from the cabinet could be rejected by judges if they deemed them to be unreasonable. Now, this sounds like a minor distinction, but this was an issue that had brought hundreds of thousands of Israelis into the streets, particularly in cities like this, in Tel Aviv, just off my right shoulder here, for months on end, and it had threatened to cripple Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Now, with October 7th, with the terrorist attacks by Hamas, Benjamin Netanyahu had gone ahead with pushing for this legislation. It had already passed in the Knesset. Now it looks like they're going to have to go back and redraft at least part of this legislation if they hope to see it passed. Now, as I mentioned, all of this going on as the war in the Gaza Strip is still happening. We're still seeing now an expanded footprint of this war as we're now seeing conflicts between the United States and Iran-backed Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. Just over the past weekend, the Houthis, among others, reported that 10 of their fighters had been killed in naval battles at the hands of the United States, even as the Houthis were attacking a private commercial vessel. Now, the Houthis have said that 3 of their ships were sunk. All of this as the Iranians have deployed a warship into the Red Sea, significantly escalating tensions well beyond the borders here in Israel.
That's Matt Bradley reporting. Let's go ahead and take a live look at a cloudy day here in the Twin Cities, but we are expected to stay dry. Jamie, it sounds like it'll be a few more days before we see our next snow chance.
Yeah, we're going to be watching for some flurries and light snow as we get closer into the weekend and watching for what could be some bigger changes into next week. But yeah, looking overhead right now, just a few breaks in the clouds, but otherwise expecting a lot of gray skies for today. Unfortunately, our skies were clearing out last night and they've clouded up yet again. You can see these clouds are spilling in from the north right now, stuck under a lot of gray. Right now, 35 degrees. The winds from the northwest making it feel like 28 outside at this hour. And checking out the rest of the region, many of us are stuck in the lower half of the 30s. Rochester at 28, St. Cloud 34, Brainerd 32, Alex and Grand Rapids, Bemidji, International Falls, Thief River Falls, all at 30 degrees along with Menominee right now. And here's a look ahead. Again, like I said, expecting a lot of gray skies and some very steady temperatures. Take a look and see if we have any temperature swings coming our way, as well as talking about what's coming up in terms of any snowfall. But in the meantime, let's check the area roads with Cece.
Hey, thanks, Jamie, and happy Tuesday, everyone. A lot of crashes have been popping up across the metro, actually, since this morning. They've cleared within the last hour, including this one here at Dunwoody Boulevard. Actually just cleared maybe 30 minutes ago. It was right here, not too far from the Lowry Tunnel. Didn't seem to slow down traffic too much, which is good. But again, be careful out there on the roads. There are some slick spots as you're heading into downtown for sure. If we take a look at the big map, everything's green, not looking too busy at this point in the afternoon commute. But before I got over here, maybe a few minutes ago, there was a crash that popped up down in Bloomington. So I'll have more on that in a few minutes. Alexis?
Cece, thank you. Just hours ago, the Crow Wing County Commission Board officially passed a resolution opposing a new state flag and seal. The move means the board will send a letter to the governor about the redesign, saying they'd rather fly the old flag. This comes after leaders there say that some of their constituents approached them with negative feedback on the change. The new flag is set to fly on May 11th if the legislature doesn't undo the redesign commission's work.